Everyone, today is Monday, May 11th, 2020, and this is Jessica Lopez, your Executive Director, with this edition of the TSJG Neighborhood News. Oh, that's me, in case you didn't know. That was me pre this hair color. All right, so again, a reminder about Zoom meetings. Please mute yourself when you are not talking, and remember your video is on so we can see you, even maybe if you can't see us. Eliminate any background noises such as unruly children or washing machines, telephones, etc. And again, just remember to unmute yourself when you're ready to be heard. For our COVID update for today, we just got hot off the press with the local health department, and they shared some very interesting statistics with us. So for California, as of May 10th, there is a total of 66,680 total cases. 3,218 of those individuals are hospitalized and 1,097 in ICU. They will always track that hospital number and the ICU number because that is what's so important about flattening that curve to make sure we are not overwhelming our hospital systems, especially our ICU beds with ventilators, which California has been impressive at being able to flatten that curve so that we didn't end up like New York where they didn't have enough hospital beds and those all-important ICU beds with ventilators. So you can see the hotspots in California still, and I'll show another look at this, still are in the major metropolitan areas such as LA and then in the Bay Area. This is our statewide statistics. So you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, positive cases by county. In the lead is Los Angeles with 31,000 cases, followed by Riverside and San Diego. And it's interesting, our human good communities tend to follow this as well. So the areas that are right in these metropolitan areas are tending to have a little more case activities on their campuses than maybe some of the other areas. So as you can see down there towards the bottom half of your screen, Fresno right there with 861 cases as compared to some of the other counties. Tulare, as you know, is a hotspot, and a lot of that attributed to that one nursing home activity where a lot of the workers and others went out and kind of did that, some community spread for Tulare County. So most of you have heard by now in California that we're starting to enter stage 2 of the 5-stage reopening process. At any point, they may go back a stage if our numbers start to increase so dramatically that they are worried we will overwhelm the hospital system. So right now, as you know, the entire state as well as many counties have their own shelter in place or safer at home orders as they've been planning for recovery. Stage 2 allows some other non-essential businesses to open, such as florists, some retailers, car dealerships, etc. Soon, other low-risk businesses will be able to join. Essential healthcare obviously remains one of those, but they are looking at some outdoor recreations, libraries, museums, etc. And all of those will have to still adhere to social distancing guidelines, as well as many probably who've gone to the store now see that stores are requiring masks to be worn. So even as we enter stage 2, it's not going to lessen what we're currently experiencing in terms of some of the CDC guidelines for keeping this COVID from spreading. It's that community spread statistic they watch so closely. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. But even in stage 2, we still need to adhere to all of those new norms. In stage 3, that's when they'll look at schools, most importantly, returning, as well as movie theaters, etc. And then in stage 4, it will be some of those larger venues like concerts, things like that. and stage 5 would be we're just back to normal again. So again, we're leaving stage 1, entering stage 2. We're just at the beginning cusps of stage 2. And I share all of this with you because we will mirror at Human Goods what the state is doing to a degree. We will probably be more conservative with what we open. If the state came through and said all the restaurants can open as long as they adhere to the following guidelines, we'd probably be more conservative than that because of the population in which we serve. But we will mirror our strategy based on the state strategy. And I say that as well to remind folks that we may move into another stage where we allow a little bit more freedom in terms of on-campus activity. But at any point, if the county ordinance changes, or more importantly, if there becomes an increase in COVID activity, we may revert back to another stage. So this is an overall view of the state of California's 5-stage plan for reopening. And we'll continue to revisit this on a routine basis. So again, what are we looking at both as a state and as Human Good? We're looking at how we can safely reopen, what these safe reopening protocols should be. All of them will include making sure that we have appropriate physical distancing, appropriate infection control, lots of communication, and then obviously making sure that we can move promptly back if there was more COVID activity. So as you know, all of you receive face masks, and that's one of the most important things we can do to support our team members. They call them healthcare workers, but really limiting the people that you would interact with, and then also making sure there's protective equipment such as face coverings. That's so important. We're going to spend a lot of time today talking about the importance of those masks, those face coverings for all of you. So before we get to talking about our mask conversation, want to do our data for today. So for COVID-19, the situation in Fresno County as of May 9th, 2020 at 3:30 p.m., there was a total of 885 cases in Fresno County. 44 are travel-related, 365 are close contact, 352 are community spread, 124 are under investigation, and 9 have passed away, and 127 have been in the hospital. Again, look at that recovered number. That's a great number. That's what we want to see, 313 recovered from COVID-19. So individuals that are currently being monitored by Fresno County Department of Public Health to date is just under 2,400. The number currently being monitored is 636. So that testing number and those numbers keep going up, but the ratios are staying where we want them, which means we are doing a good job of flattening the curve in Fresno County. For San Joaquin Gardens, as of today, we have 2 PUI cases, 1 team member and 1 resident. And again, that's anybody that's being tested for COVID, whether they are symptomatic or not, and we become aware of it. We ask that you let us know so that we can track you as a person under investigation, or PUI. A lot of questions from residents, again, continue to come in about whether or not they should test. That's really a personal choice. As you can see here, this is a CDC guidelines on priority status and to whom would receive a test. All residents for us, because of their age being over 65, when they go to the hospital, would most likely, like 99.9% of the time, be tested for COVID prior to return from the hospital to San Joaquin Gardens. The reason for that is because they're coming back to a congregate living setting, and obviously the health department doesn't want to see any potential spread. But a resident could choose to go get tested on their own volition for curiosity's sake, even if not symptomatic, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But the priority still is people in the hospital, people though that are symptomatic or that have had known direct exposure, considered to be a person exposed to COVID. So if you wanted to get a test, the answer would simply be to contact your primary care physician, or on the next few slides, I have some information on where you could get tested, and that is at Fresno City College, the Sanger office, just opened yesterday, actually. So there is a testing site now in Sanger and then at Adventist Health. So this, I know a few of you were talking last week about Fresno City College test site or the Sanger test site. For either of those, you can call 600-3332, or the website is here, and we're going to send this out via email as well, so you have it. And you can actually just go online and sign up for testing if you so desired. Again, there's no need to test, and my fear with people testing is a false sense of security that comes from it. All the tests will tell you is if you have COVID at that moment or time. You could be exposed to COVID while getting the test and have COVID later on. So the only reason for the test would be, again, if you're symptomatic and want to know if you should be self-isolating so that you, as you obviously don't want to spread COVID to others. But I know that they're encouraging folks to be tested. And I just want to, again, caution folks that regardless of the test outcome, it should not change your new habits of wearing a mask, social distancing, and being aware of touching your face and objects, especially when out in public. So again, a friendly reminder to please, please, please let us know if you are getting tested. We need to track all COVID testing on our campus. So if you plan to get tested or make an appointment to do so, we'd ask that you contact Valerie Epps or Carol Freeman, and they would just track that for you and then follow up in the designated time so that we could document the outcome of that test. It's very important for us because we don't like to get phone calls from the health department saying, oh, by the way, so-and-so has had a positive test, and we had no idea that that person had even been tested. So it's important for us to know that so we can track it, make sure people are isolating. If it's a team member, isolating at home. If it's a resident, isolating in their apartment, especially if symptomatic and awaiting those results. So we want to really remind folks about the new Fresno County Shelter-in-Place guidelines that were issued. As you know, that extended the shelter-in-place guidelines through the end of the month. But the biggest component to these new shelter-in-place guidelines were that all essential businesses, when visiting them, you should be wearing a mask. We would interpret that to mean that San Joaquin Gardens, which is an essential business, it means all individuals within should be wearing masks. So in your apartment, that is considered your home. Once you leave your apartment, that would be considered a visit to an essential business, which means you should be wearing masks when out and about in public. So don't forget to wear your masks. If you don't have one or you lost yours, please let us know, because wearing masks is going to really be essential. And I would say it's going to be a normal part of life for at least the next 18 months until we can feel a normalcy return to the United States and to the world. So why should you wear a mask when in public? Well, the first and foremost reason, it is a barrier to protect others, not yourself. Wearing a mask is a barrier to protect others from your cough or your sneeze. So again, the idea that you could have COVID unbeknownst to yourself, you could assume it's just your normal seasonal allergies and sneeze, and that goes out and could infect others. So the number one reason to wear a mask when in public is to protect others from your cough or sneeze. The more individuals that start to wear masks will help us get back to our normal lives. So the sooner we all kind of adhere to that, it'll keep that community spread to a minimum and will allow us to go back to our normal lives. It will prevent you from touching your face. So it is important that you not touch your face and touch your nose, your mouth, your eyes, where all those mucous membranes. So it will be a barrier for you to do that. As a reminder, I think the latest study I read said that about 35% of individuals that were determined to have COVID were asymptomatic. So they never showed a symptom at all during the course of the entire virus. and they were obviously carriers. So any one of us could be an asymptomatic carrier. And so wearing that mask is so important because we wouldn't want to accidentally, cause that community spread. Wearing a mask also makes a statement to others. When you see someone else wearing a mask, you remember, oh my gosh, that's what we're supposed to be doing now. It shows everyone the importance of taking this virus seriously and adhering to these new social norms very seriously. So the more of us that do it, it makes a statement about how important it is, and it makes it more normalized, which will encourage others to do so. Everyone within our community is considered high risk because of their age. So that's another reason that all of our residents should be wearing masks. Obviously, if you are sick, you should be wearing a mask because, again, even if you think it's seasonal allergies or anything else, you don't want to infect others. I would argue the most important reason to wear a mask is you're going to protect other people. Whether you're protecting our healthcare workers from creating a drain on the healthcare system by flattening the curve, we are protecting our healthcare workers. You're protecting our team members by wearing a mask. You're protecting your fellow residents by wearing masks, and most importantly, you're protecting your loved ones by wearing a mask. So you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others and for the greater good. So those are our top 10 reasons why you should wear a mask when in public. So we really want to strongly encourage all of our residents to wear masks when they're not in their apartments. So the residents and I were talking this morning, and we developed some tips for wearing a mask. Putting a mask by your door so it's the last thing you see before you leave your home. Maybe keeping it around your neck or your ear so that you have it when you need it. Dennis was saying he ties a rope on his mask so that he always has it dangling around his neck so he can quickly put it on if he needs it, and that way he doesn't forget it. I want to encourage all of us to gently remind one another when you see them out and about that they should be wearing a mask if they're not doing so. That's really helped for our team members as it became normal for all of us to wear our masks all the time, that if we see somebody without a mask, it's so unnormal that we all, if we see it on their chin and they're walking down the hallway, we're like, put your mask on, put your mask on. So I think we need to gently remind one another. And remember that wearing a mask is every time you leave your apartment. So if you're going to check the mail or take out your garbage, the residents mentioned this to me, that sometimes people are just making that short trip, so they just run out really quick and they don't think of their mask. But yet that's one of the most communal areas on our campus. Everybody goes to the trash areas. Everybody goes to the mail area. So you're more likely to encounter someone on that short trip than you would be maybe even walking your dog, especially in the early morning hours. So though it's more important even at that time to wear your masks. So again, and the final tip our residents came up with was leave your mask with your walker or something else that you always have with you. It takes, what did we say, 3 weeks to make a habit. So right now we're going to have to think about it a lot, but pretty soon it will become habitual and we won't have to think about it. So right now I would encourage all of you to develop some tips for yourself to remember to wear that mask and keep that with you at all times, because this will become our new normal. In order to encourage all of you to wear your masks, we would ask that you make a poster with us. So we're calling all residents, creative or not. We'd like to invite you to showcase your talents. We want to ask you to design a poster to encourage residents to wear masks. Posters will be due to the concierge by May 20th, and we will be announcing the winner on the May 21st call. All participants can make any size creations, but the minimum will be 8.5 by 11. So if you have a neighbor or a friend or anyone that would like to participate, we'd encourage you to make these posters, and we'll display them throughout the community, and then the winner will be announced on the May 21st call. Another look at our financials, which are so volatile right now because of the pandemic. And right now, our current census, we have dropped below our budget for residential living census. We currently are sitting at 240 out of a budget of 242.8 for residential living. For assisted living, we're again slightly below budget at 53 with a budget of 55. Memory support slightly below budget at 25 versus a budget of 26. But the all-important village skilled nursing. Our budget is 51 and our current skilled nursing census is 39. And that skilled nursing census is the biggest financial driver for our monthly operational revenue. So we're currently 12 below our village budgeted census. Again, every one accommodation that sits empty or not utilized represents a loss of revenue of at least $15,000 per month. So with our current census as it sits today, that would be a projected loss of about $180,000 for the month, or $2.1 million annually. So this hospital activity is so vital to the financial operations of our campus. This is why we track it so closely. This is why we're talking with the hospitals about when they're going to start elective surgeries, because until that census gets back up and skilled, we're going to be on the edge of our seats, because that's such a driver to our overall financials here at San Joaquin Gardens. So hospital activity is supposed to start increasing mid to late May. We're again watching that really closely, because as those surgeries start to, especially the elective surgeries, start to happen again, that will improve our activity in our skilled nursing. And again, that's why you see all the local hospitals are doing layoffs and furloughs, because their census has dropped so dramatically and their revenue loss is already in the millions. So it is a huge financial indicator for all of us, but everybody is kind of talking with everybody right now about what we're going to do to offset those losses, especially in the hospitals, which are hugely impactful to us as well. Our sales team continues to work and encourage folks to join our community. So you might have seen the one-day videos. So our sales team is walking around and using an app called One Day. This allows them to take videos of our apartments, of our campus, of themselves, and immediately send that to the potential resident. They're working really well. And then we're also exploring doing something like what we're doing right now, doing a Zoom call with prospective residents to discuss the benefits of San Joaquin Gardens. And our sister community in the terraces of Los Altos is going to be piloting that. And if it goes well, we will probably follow suit and host our first virtual marketing luncheon of some sort with potential leads. We still have some activity happening. We still have 2 move-ins slated to happen in I believe in June and July, and then we received another deposit today. So activity is still going on, and that's wonderful. We're glad to see that, but we need to continue to encourage and market ourselves in this new world with COVID. And lifestyle enrichment, we want to announce that this Friday, May 15th, you will see the Kona Ice truck on campus. And they will be going through the neighborhoods, and they will be serving an icy treats to all of our residents and team members. We will have an announced schedule as to where they will be and when. I do want to remind everyone that there would need to be social distancing. So I know that we all run to the ice cream truck when we hear the song, and that's socially ingrained in us to do so. But we want to refrain from the running, and everyone will have them stay as long as it's necessary to get everyone a cool icy treat this Friday, May 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And we hope that you enjoy that. We're trying to continue to get creative and fun ways to bring joy and a little bit of sugar to all of you throughout this crisis. So in order to continue to explore all that San Joaquin Gardens has to offer, we want to invite you to our YouTube page. If you don't know what YouTube is, you can contact Olivia Lopez or Emma Lopez. They are experts at it. Their mother is not, but you can search for the Terraces at San Joaquin Gardens. Once you find it, click on our account, and there you can view all of our Sunday church services we've recorded, all the Bible studies that Jim Westgate has done, all of the neighborhood news editions like this one right now, the trivia show, and so much more. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see all that is listed on our YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. So again, you would simply go online to www.youtube.com and search for the Terraces at San Joaquin Gardens, TSJG. Once you find us, you'll click on our account and you can see all of our YouTube offerings there. And again, if you have issues with that, please don't hesitate to contact us on the Connect line, and we will help you get to our YouTube page. We want to encourage you to exercise your brain with some cranium crunches. So keep your brain stimulated with a variety of challenging puzzles, such as crossword, word searches, Sudoku, May trivia, and much more. If you are interested in any of these cranium crunches, please contact Elizabeth Mendez at 430. I didn't adopt her, at 430-8221. My stepdaughter is Elizabeth Lopez, so forgive me. You can also contact Elizabeth Mendez at humangood.org is her email, and she will provide you with any of the May editions of the Cranium Crunches. So those are always available for you to exercise your brain. What's going on in the dining team? Well, let's first make sure everybody knows how to get all of them. So SJG Dining Services at humangood.org. SJG Dining Services at humangood.org. That will get you to the entire leadership team within our dining department. If you wanted to provide them with kudos or feedback, Dennis used it this morning and assured me it is working. I've been using it all weekend. It does work. So I think people might be forgetting the services, and that's probably my error for leaving it off last week. So the correct email again is SJG Dining Services with an S at the end, services at humangood.org. If folks can't figure that out, we will create a new email to make it shorter, but that's the email that has always been in place that we are currently highlighting. So if you'd like to get a hold of Mike Shackelford, our executive chef, or anyone else, that is the email to do so. So who's at the helm of our dining department? So Mike Shackelford is our executive chef. So he's the top dog in our dining department. Sandy Garcia, everybody knows and loves Sandy. She is our dining operations manager. We typically call that the front of the house, whereas Mike's handling the back of the house, so to speak. We have Tyler Gregory, one of our sous chefs. Kelsey McGregor, our registered dietitian, and Anna Garrett. Hopefully many of you remember Anna Garrett. She has been with us before, but she will be our interim dining general manager as we look for a replacement for Kelly Spire. So Anna is our only interim person right now. We do not have any other interim folks. And then we will be looking for a replacement for Kelly, which once we do, Anna would be leaving us. And then, of course, everybody knows Plea, our dining services assistant. So that is our dining team, ladies and gentlemen, and all of them have been working really, really hard to ensure all of your needs are not only met, but that we are even dreaming a bigger dream than you could dream for yourself when it comes to dining and trying to create wonderful culinary experiences for you all during this time. And so these are the folks that are making that magic happen. And these are the individuals that will receive your email if you email them at sjgdiningservices@humangood.org. So all of these folks would receive that email if you were to send it to them. So I know we received tons of kudos from all of you for all that they did on Mother's Day, and it truly was superb. And so my hat goes off to all of them, and I will be meeting with them tomorrow to extend my gratitude to them on all of your behalf. And thank you to everyone who sent an email praising the dining team, because they really did work hard to create something special for you this Mother's Day. And I think they exceeded our expectations. What's going on in building and grounds? Milano and Piazza residents can expect their windows to be washed between May 26th and 29th. So it's time to let all that sunshine in. So again, Milano and Piazza residents, look forward to getting your windows washed this between May 26th and 29th. The new Speranza walk-in, a new walk-in refrigerator freezer is being added to the Speranza kitchen for more storage and better access for the dining team. The permit has officially been issued and construction will resume tomorrow. We had a pause in our construction for a few months, but that will be resumed tomorrow. We're excited to see that project wrapped up in the next couple of weeks, which will especially Executive Chef Mike will be incredibly excited to see that, as that has been on his wish list for some time, and it's absolutely needed for us to provide service. If you even saw how they have it, does anybody remember the game Tetris? There's a game called Tetris where you had to find ways to stack everything, and that's kind of what we have to play with our walk-in fridge freezers, because it is a true art to keep everything we need in there right now, because there's just not enough space. So we're so excited to have this expansion for our dining team. Every cloud has a silver lining, so always look for sorry, Dominic is pounding on the door, and I believe he's not dressed, so that took my attention for a moment. Every cloud has a silver lining, so always look for the silver lining and to find the sunny side of life. So again, it has been our pleasure to introduce every week something new and exciting and fun for y'all to look forward to. This last week was Aloha Friday, and we picked the hottest day of the year to do this. So all of us went out there dressed in our Hawaiian attire and went to everybody's doorstep to offer them some chocolate-covered macadamia nuts, as well as a Mai Tai with rum and without. So that is me, as she's highlighting. You can't tell because I'm so heavily disguised, but I was handling a business transaction while pushing the cart, and it was multitasking at its finest. So thank you to everyone who dressed up and had a little fun with us while we ran around in our Hawaiian flair. To offer you all a wonderful, cooling, tropical concoction. We were so excited to see how many of you were dressed up, in good spirits, and ready for a Mai Tai. So thank you to all of our team members for working so late that day and running around in the hot sun. And they did it with just... I never can get over how amazing this team is, but especially the joy that they get from being with all of you. And it doesn't matter what we ask them to do. If I tell Brian to put on a grass skirt and go serve some drinks, he does it with gusto and with absolute joy in his heart, as do all of our team members. We had a special performance by the Walkers with their ukuleles as they sang a Hawaiian song for all of us, and I'm sorry that it's not coming through on Zoom, but it was quite special, and we thank them for that. So that was Friday. Doesn't it seem like a long time ago? It's like we tried to pack everything in 1 week for you all. Nurses Day, Mother's Day, Luau Friday. So we started off the new week, as you all know, with Mother's Day, and behind the scenes dining services worked so hard. I could not be prouder of this dining team. It was incredible to see. They pulled off something I didn't even think was possible, to serve that many meals with that many courses and to do it with such a beautiful execution. This team was on fire, and they did it with absolute pride in their hearts and a joy of service that I was so proud to have seen firsthand. So a big thank you to all of you that worked so hard for that. And thank you to everyone who sent their comments to me about how lovely it was. And the dining team, I believe, had to make at least 2 trips out to deliver everything to each apartment because there were so many different things between the dessert tray and the roses and the little gifts and the mimosas. Just, we couldn't be more proud. And then we had our Mother's Day parade. So this was such a great event, and I have to tell you all, I was really trepidatious about it and nervous about how it would transpire because it went a lot bigger than I expected it to do. I believe at the final count we had 78 cars that came through, and every single car was so excited to celebrate and honor their parents in this way. So we just thank everyone who participated. Everybody made their signs, honked their horns. They had so much fun. The Klein's family was my favorite because they every car had a big, wonderful bounty to offer for us to take to the Kleins. And there was a tri-tip on one car, a pie in another. And I was just thinking, I hope my kids are taking notes because that's what I expect for Mother's Day a few years from now. But it was such a lovely event. So a thank you to all the family members who participated. Everybody was given their masks to wear. Every car that went through was given a carnation from us to them. And it just turned out to be quite a lovely event. So I think I've received more emails about this Mother's Day than I ever have in my 11-year tenure at San Joaquin Gardens. And so some of the kudos that we've received were, thank you for making today so special in the lives of the TSJG moms. Kudos are going for our dining folks for a delicious meal and so well prepared. The whole dining team gets 6 stars for Sunday's very special meal. Thank you so very much. Thank you for making my Mother's Day so special. All the lovely gestures were perfect and very much appreciated. What a wonderful but different Mother's Day. Both meals today were terrific. The brunch was beautiful and so plentiful. The food was lovely and well prepared. Thank you for all the delicious treats. The drive-through was great fun, seeing our 2 families and others as well spreading the happiness around. It was such a happy occasion. I just wanted to thank you for a memorable Mother's Day. It was such fun, from one of the parades to a beautiful special lunch to the packaged sweets. It was done to a T and was very much appreciated. It goes on. It says, you're amazing. You are so appreciated for all the special things you do to make our lives living under these restrictions from the pandemic as good as possible. There were so many thoughtful things done for us yesterday. It made it easier to deal with being away from our loved ones. I'm not surprised that you were here to be sure everything was under control and to have Mother's Days be special. Thank you. Thank you for making this Mother's Day so special. Please make sure we cascade that down to the rest of the team. A big thank you to Chef Mike and leading your dining team players to create and to deliver a fine dining experience for all of us residents. Being cooped in with this pandemic has had its challenges for our residents, and staying optimistic because we don't get to dine and communicate with our families and with our TSJG friends and families, which we all enjoy. Please express our gratitude to our dining team for the excellent meals you bring us. We look forward to the future when we can tell you and your team members in person. So a big thank you to everyone who helped make that Mother's Day so special. I have to tell you, I'm going to go back so you can see when we were doing the parade, what I didn't expect to see was the cars going throughout the campus honking their horns. I thought folks would go to see their mother or father honk their horn, but I love to see people going through the whole campus, and so many residents sat outside watching for the whole 5 hours that we did the parade. And I stayed, I probably stayed till, I don't know, maybe around noon. And before I got ready to leave, a resident stopped me and said, "Thank you so much for doing this. It brought tears to my eyes and a smile to my face. I didn't know how much I needed to see my family until this very moment. So thank you." And that one comment made all the work before and after worth it. So we're just so pleased that Mother's Day was a special one for everyone involved. And again, thank you for your comments. So upcoming May birthdays, May 8th, our very own Elaine Silverman had her birthday. So at our Friday luau, we gave her extra chocolate covered macadamia nuts to wish her a happy birthday. Today, our very own Diane McKelvey has a birthday on May 11th. Also celebrating is Dominic Lopez, honorary resident, who too celebrates a birthday with Diane today on May 11th. So happy birthday, Diane, if you're on the call. We will sing to you momentarily. Julie Harder celebrates her birthday tomorrow, May 12th. So please call these folks, wish them a happy birthday as they would do so if we were all together in person. So happy birthday to Elaine, Diane, and Julie from all of us here at TSJG. We want to continue to remind you the hunt for the gnome continues. On May 7th, the gnome was moved and he continues to be on the move. Where did he go? Well, that's up to you to find out. When you spot him, let us know. If you see the gnome, call the Connect line at 430-8216 and tell them where you saw him. And your name will be placed in our raffle. So have fun and happy hunting. Again, a gentle reminder that you do not need to physically pick up and bring the gnome to the concierge desk to prove that you found him. We will take your word for it. We trust you. And if you just tell us the general location, you will be entered into the raffle. So everybody, happy hunting. Continue to hunt for the gnome. And with that, we will open it up to questions and comments. So we will go ahead and stop sharing our screen. And we will unmute everyone. And Michelle, you can stop recording.